So, I'm a huge physical media nerd, and I'm also a huge Zelda nerd, so it shouldn't be a huge surprise when I tell you I recently went to my local game store to buy a Wii U, just so I can have an excuse to own a physical copy of Twilight Princess HD. After getting home and getting my new Wii U set up, I popped in Twilight Princess and started a new playthrough. After getting almost halfway through the game, I thought, man, how cool would it be to try to beat this with only 3 hearts? I created a new save and started the run. Once I finished the tutorial, I made my way to the first dungeon. Upon entering, we find trapped monkeys, blood-hungry spiders, and a crazy ape set on holding us back. We find out there are more monkeys trapped, and after lending them our help, they return the favor. The monkeys then guide us to the next room, where we face off against our first mini-boss, Big Baba. This boss is simple. They don't give us too much trouble and we take them down pretty quick. The monkeys then guide us to our next mini-boss, the crazy boomerang ape from before, Ook. Immediately, we are attacked by Baba's serpents, and after getting free, we can focus on the real threat. No, let go! All we have to do is dodge Ook's boomerang and knock ourselves into the pillars he's standing on. Doing this causes Ook to lose his balance, making him unable to catch his boomerang. Once his boomerang hits him, he falls to the ground where we can give him a proper whooping. Did we just hit that back to him? No way. We do this about 3 or 4 more times before Ook is finally defeated and we get the Gale Boomerang all to ourselves. And there we go, the Gale Boomerang. With this, we now gain access to the boss key. We save the last of the trapped monkeys, and with their help, we swing into action for our final face-off, picking up a fairy on the way. My God! Help me! Diababa. Here we are, the final boss. Once we defeat the 2 heads, Diababa decides to take matters into his own hands. Ook's redemption arc kicks in and supplies us with the bombs we need to defeat the final boss. As Ook ziplines back and forth, we use our Gale Boomerang to carry the bombs and target the 2 heads from before. After the 2 heads are defeated for a second time, we send our next bomb to Diababa themselves. Diababa dodges this attack, prompting us to try again. After a successful hit, we take on Diababa by sword. Needless to say, they didn't like this. No! We repeat our actions from before, but so does Diababa. Look, it missed him again. I wasn't lining up my throws correctly, and Diababa dodged at least 4 of my attacks. Once it was lined up correctly, we land our final blow and defeat the first main boss of the run. And there we go. That's the first boss down, dude. Not too bad. We are then rewarded with our first piece of Fused Shadow. Upon exiting the dungeon, we make our way through Hyrule Field to get to Kakariko Village. To enter, we must transform back into Wolf Link. We follow the smell of our friends to Kakariko Village, only to find it overrun by Shadow Beasts. We defeat them quickly and are given the Vessel of Tears to rid the village of Twilight. To do this, we need to hunt down all of the Shadow Insects and collect the Tears of Light they hold. We don't have too much trouble with this, except we do end up torching the bomb storage. We sing a song with the Hero of Time and collect the last tear, ridding the village of the Twilight. After being reunited with our friends, we're told we need to go to Death Mountain, but the Gorons aren't going to let us in that easy. We make our way back to Ordon Village to request help from Mayor Bo. Mayor Bo teaches us how to properly sumo wrestle. After some friendly hugging, we defeat Mayor Bo and he gives us the iron boots we need to even the odds with the Goron. On return to Kakariko Village, we find out King Bublin has kidnapped our friend Colin. With sword in hand, we chase after him while other Bublins try to stop us. With much persistence and after knocking off King Bublin's armor with our sword, we have a final face-off. King Bublin isn't difficult at all, and we defeat him after 2 hits, queuing up one of the coolest cutscenes in the game. After returning Colin to our friends, we pay a visit to Mallow and purchase the Hylian Shield. Now that we're well equipped, we make our way to Death Mountain. We show the Gorons who's boss, and in return we meet their leader, Gor Koron. Gor Koron challenged us to a sumo match, and after some struggle, we throw him out of the ring. With Gor Koron's newfound approval, he allows us to enter the second dungeon of the game, the Goron Mines. The start of the dungeon is simple. After fighting some Bublins and a Dodongo, we find Gor Amodo, a Goron Elder. He gives us a key shard, one of 3 needed to open the final boss door. With the help of our steel boots, we can walk along magnetic walls and reach places we wouldn't normally be able to. I progressed into the next area, and after realizing I didn't have a small key for a door I saw, I backtracked to a chest I left behind, only to be disappointed. Oh my god, no! This is the last thing I wanted. We should be fine though. In Twilight Princess, you need 5 heart pieces to create a heart container, so as long as we refrain from picking up any more than 4, we won't need to restart the run. We find the next Goron Elder, Gor Abizo, giving us our second key shard. Just 1 more to go. After exploring the dungeon some more, we run across the mini-boss, Dangoro. Dangoro's fight is a lot of fun, and he isn't holding back. Oh! The best way I can describe this fight is if Link had made his way into Super Mario 64, Dengoro being Bowser. All we have to do is wait for Dengoro to wind up his attack and hit him before he strikes. Doing this causes Dengoro to begin his second attack, but with the steel boots equipped, we use the skills we learned from Mayor Bo to send Dengoro out of the arena and into the lava below. Oh, put the boots on, Link! We had a few close calls when it came to almost falling out of the arena ourselves, but we made pretty easy work of Dengoro. Okay, there we go, we got it. Defeating Dengoro rewards us with a hero's bow. This is our key to beating the dungeon's boss. We find the last Goron Elder, Gorligs, and we now have everything we need to enter the final boss room and complete the dungeon. We grab another fairy, and fight through mobs and mobs of Bubblins until we come face to face with the dungeon boss themselves, Twilight Igniter Virus. All we have to do is shoot Virus's gemstone they wear on their head with our bow and arrows. This gives them the worst migraine imaginable, and we use this weakness to run behind them, equip the steel boots, and pull the chains locked to their ankles. Doing this causes Virus to fall forward where we can attack their weak spot. We do this about 3 or 4 more times before we land the final blow, causing Virus to become a one-man choir. We are then rewarded with our second Fuse Shadow. Only one more to go. Back in Kakariko, we pay a visit to Barnes, who sells us a bomb bag, allowing us to carry bombs and use them as needed. Making our way to Hyrule Castletown, we once again transform into Wolf Link and head to Telma's bar to find our friend Ilya, who is trying to help a sick Zora child. But fortunately, the land is still shrouded in the twilight, and there's nothing we can do. We overhear some Hylian guards explain some strange happenings in Lake Hylia, and decide to investigate. After getting ambushed on the Great Bridge of Hylia, we have no choice but to jump off the bridge into the lake below. We safely land in Lake Hylia, only to find it's been reduced to a puddle. While trying to get clues as to what's happening from a man named Fire, he gets startled by a nearby Bublin. After confronting the Bublin calls a Twilight Carrier Kargarok to his aid. To my surprise, this fight wasn't hard at all. I've actually struggled with this fight on other playthroughs, but luckily we were able to defeat both of them pretty easily. Upon defeat, Minda tames the Kargarok, and it helps us traverse upstream. Dodging fire arrows, falling pillars, and exploding stalactites, the Kargarok drops us off at the Upper Zoras River. We find out the cause of the water shortage is due to the main water source being frozen. It's here that we find out not only is the main source frozen, but most of the Zora people as well. We warp back to Death Mountain and teleport a smoldering boulder back to the Zora's domain, melting all of the ice and freeing the frozen Zora. The spirit of Queen Rutella appears and gives us her thanks and asks us to help her son, Prince Rallis, the Zora child we saw before in Telma's bar. The only problem is, the land is still covered in twilight and there's nothing we can do to help as Wolf Link. With the water having returned to Lake Hylia, we retrieve the Vessel of Tears and once again hunt down all of the shadow insects to rid the land of twilight. After defeating the insects, we face off against the Twilight Bloat. This mini-boss is a pretty fun fight. All we have to do is dodge its sweeping attack and grab onto it when it's close enough to the surface. Basically the same fight as the Kargarok, except we do get taken down to 1 heart. Once we do enough damage, we land the final blow, defeating the Twilight Bloat. With our Vessel of Tears now completely full, we meet Lineru, the spirit of Lake Hylia, who delves into the dark lore of what's really happening. He explains the last Fuse Shadow is located in the Lakebed Temple, a dungeon at the bottom of Lake Hylia. Now distraught and questioning the consequences of our quest, we go back to Telma's bar to lend our aid to Prince Rallis. Upon entering the bar, we overhear the local doctor explain there's nothing he can do. The only way we can help the young prince now is to transport him over to Kakariko Village to seek the aid of the local shaman Renato. During our expedition, King Bublin makes his return, but this time he's packing the wall build from Elden Ring. I tried using bomb arrows because I figured it would do more damage, but it actually didn't do anything, so I had to just use normal arrows. After hitting him twice, King Bublin meets his demise once again, and we are rewarded with the key to open the gates we need to get to Kakariko Village. The rest of the ride to Kakariko Village isn't too difficult. All we have to do is defend the cart carrying Prince Rallis while Bublins and Kargarok try to set it on fire. After successfully getting the prince to safety, Queen Rutella reappears and rewards us with the Zora armor. With this, we can safely get to the bottom of Lake Hylia and enter the Lakebed Temple. To progress through this dungeon, we need to rotate the stairs to different positions to be able to access new areas. We also run into new enemies including Helmasaurs, Lizalfos, Chewworms, and a few others. We need to open up water gates, allowing water to escape and flow throughout the dungeon, unlocking new pathways and activating hydro-powered mechanisms. It isn't long until we stumble upon the mini-boss of the dungeon, the Deku Toad. What? That's not a boss. Oh, dude. Let's go. This guy rocks. The Deku Toad is the first boss in this playthrough that actually gave us some struggle, but that's merely based on skill issue. No! No! We're getting ganged up on! Ah, this sucks. You see, the Deku Toad sends its Toados to attack while it sits back and watches, and instead of doing the spin attack to defend myself, I resorted to bombs, running away, and arrows, but we were no match. Once the first wave of Toados were defeated, we were able to strike the Deku Toad itself. Once the second wave of Toados arrived, we ended up using our first fairy of the run, refilling our hearts and giving us a second wind.
Oh, our fairy, our savior.
It's here that I finally realized using the spin attack is the strat. I use the skills I've learned from my many playthroughs of Dark Souls to dodge Deku Toad's jump attacks, slaughter the remaining Toados, and perform a finishing move on the Deku Toad's tongue, sealing its fate.
Nice. Okay. Almost lost my cool there, but we did it. Ew.
Once the Deku Toad is defeated, we are rewarded with the Claw Shot. Now that we have the Claw Shot, we can access new areas and deal with stubborn enemies we previously weren't able to. Using the Claw Shot, we're able to rotate the stairs to a new area. Exploring this new area leads to opening another water gate, allowing access to even more parts of the dungeon. After exploring through underwater tunnels, we find it, the boss key chest. Unfortunately, we're not where we need to be. We retrace our steps through the underwater tunnels until we find the room we need to be able to drop down and obtain the boss key. Returning back to the central room of the dungeon, we find the boss door. Upon entering, we are met with a familiar foe.
Oh, this is just the Ocarina boss fight. Oh no, it is not just the Ocarina boss fight.
Twilight Aquatic Morpheal. Immediately, Morpheal snatches us and chews us up before spitting us out, costing us 1 heart of damage. The goal is to rip out the eyeball from Morpheal's tentacles, but again, we are snatched up and devoured. Unfortunately, once I was spit out, I still had my iron boots on and just sank right back into Morpheal's mouth. Again, it's a skill issue. We're able to grab Morpheal's eye and barely dodge their grab attack, but still aren't able to do any damage to the eye just yet. We get snatched again and are eventually able to finally land 2 hits on the eye. Morpheal retaliates by sending out bombfish. The bombfish act more as a nuisance rather than a threat by distracting our lock-on mechanic. And after getting chewed up once again, we land 1 more blow to Morpheal's eye, causing them to rage and move on to their second phase. Morpheal's second phase is way more easy than the first. All we have to do is catch up to them, lock onto the eye, grab it with a claw shot, and continuously attack until we're thrown off.
Stab! Stab! Stab!
We do this a total of 3 times with no problem and defeat the 3rd main boss of the game. Finally, we now have the 3rd and final piece of the fused shadow. Upon return to the Spring of Lanayru, we are confronted by Zant, the main antagonist of the game. Lanayru comes to our defense, but Zant retaliates, knocking Lanayru back and once again shadowing the spring in Twilight. Zant then steals the fused shadow pieces from Midna and shoves a rock into our head, making us unable to transform back from Wolflink. Zant then forces Midna in front of the now revived Lanayru, whose light does devastating damage to our companion, and we get teleported to Hyrule Field. With Midna gravely injured, we seek the help of the Princess of Hyrule, for maybe, just maybe, she can help our friend.